When an F-86 chased a MiG into China. Korea, 1952. The sky over the Yalu River pulsed with tension. Captain Jack Hawk Lawson gripped the stick of his F-86 Sabre with white knuckles. He scanned the horizon for that one elusive MiG-15, silver, fast, and arrogant. The red jet had been taunting their squadron for weeks, always dipping across the Yalu into Chinese airspace when things got too hot. "He's out there," Jack muttered into his mask. "I can feel it." From the ground, the difference between North Korea and China was a political line. But in the air, that line was sacred. The Pentagon made it clear, no American was to cross it. Not even by a foot. It would be an international incident, possibly triggering Chinese retaliation. But that MiG had pushed too far. Just yesterday, it had shot down Lieutenant Danny Reeves, Jack's wingman and best friend, then darted across the border like a ghost. Today, Jack wasn't going to let it slip away. "Sabre 1, bogey at 2 o'clock high, closing fast," crackled the radio. Jack banked hard right and pulled into a steep climb. There it was. The MiG. Painted red nose cone, a daredevil's defiance. The pilot, whoever he was, had been nicknamed Red Fang by the Americans. Rumors said he wasn't even Chinese or Korean, but a Russian ace, testing American reflexes and patience. Jack locked on. "Let's dance." The MiG rolled, climbed, and then dove straight for the Yalu. Jack followed, knowing the line was close. The river shimmered below like a warning. Red Fang skimmed the surface and passed into Chinese airspace. Jack hesitated. He could almost hear Danny's voice in the cockpit. "Don't let him win again, Jack." Not this time. He crossed the line. The moment he crossed into Chinese airspace, the radio went quiet. Even the roar of the engine seemed distant. It was just him, his jet, and Red Fang. The MiG darted between canyons and snow-capped ridges. Jack stayed close, a phantom in pursuit. The dogfight was now a chase, not a brawl. Red Fang was running, but not panicked. It was calculated. "What are you doing?" Jack whispered. The MiG led him deeper, over barren hills, industrial valleys, and eventually toward a series of military installations Jack had only seen on reconnaissance maps. This was no random retreat. Jack finally caught a lock-on signal. "Fox 1, he said and pressed the trigger. The machine guns rattled. Tracers lit the sky. The MiG jerked, wing hit, but it didn't go down. Instead, it slowed, then turned. Jack expected it to crash. Instead, Red Fang came around, face to face, and started a head-on attack. The jets clashed in a whirlwind of spirals and rolls. This wasn't a desperate pilot. This was a trap. Suddenly, Jack's radar blipped twice. 2 new signatures, MiGs, coming fast. "Ambush," he muttered. Red Fang pulled out of the fight and soared toward the horizon. The other 2 MiGs locked on to Jack. Now he was the prey. Jack dove into a canyon, hugging the terrain. Every second he spent here made an international incident more likely. If he was shot down, he'd be a bargaining chip. If he survived and returned, he'd be court-martialed. He throttled the engine. The MiGs followed. But one thing Jack knew better than anyone was airspace, how to turn nature into a weapon. He banked left, pulled into a narrow crevice between cliffs, and then popped a high G vertical climb. The MiGs overshot. Jack rolled over the top, and in seconds, he was behind one of them. "Let's even the odds." His guns fired. This time, the MiG exploded into a fireball, spiraling into a snowy ravine. The second MiG broke off. Jack, now low on fuel, turned back toward Korea. But the border was miles away. And Red Fang? He was waiting. The MiG reappeared, trailing him. Jack was bleeding altitude, fuel blinking red. His F-86 had only 1 burst left in the guns. And the worst part? He was still in Chinese skies. Suddenly, Jack made a decision. A crazy one. He turned toward Red Fang. It was suicide. But it was the only chance. They raced at each other, nose to nose. Two blurs screaming through freezing air. Jack didn't blink. He adjusted the sight, focused on the red nose cone. Closer. Closer. Red Fang fired first. Bullets ripped past Jack's wings. Jack didn't fire. Not yet. At the last second, Red Fang veered up, just slightly. A hesitation. A twitch. Jack squeezed the trigger. The MiG's cockpit erupted in flame. The jet tumbled, spiraling into the mountains below. No chute deployed. Jack pulled out of the dive, lungs burning, fuel nearly gone. He angled southwest, chasing the fading sun. He didn't look back. Jack made it to friendly skies with fumes in his tank. He landed on the forward base's emergency strip, the F-86 wheels scraping the concrete like claws. Crew rushed out. His squadron commander ran to the cockpit. "Jesus, Lawson, you crossed into China." "I had to," Jack rasped, unstrapping himself. "You realize what this means?" Jack didn't answer. He was staring at the horizon, remembering the explosion, the fireball. Red Fang was dead. Danny was avenged. But at what cost? He was grounded for months. Official reports said the MiG crossed into UN airspace, not the other way around. Politics painted the story neat. Clean. Jack never flew combat again. But in the quiet hours of the night, when the wind rustled the trees outside his window, he sometimes imagined another sound, a MiG engine, distant, haunting, like a ghost that never stopped chasing.